The Deputy Prime Minister taking exception to recent comments by Exuma and Ragged Island Member of Parliament Chester Cooper, calling them deceitful and misleading. In a press statement issued by the opposition MP, he called for the minister to explain what he meant when he said $42 million of the $150 million borrowed by the former Christie administration and placed in the Consolidated Fund for hurricane relief cannot be found. Late this afternoon, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Honourable Peter Turnquest, issued a statement in response. It reads, "It is disappointing that the member for Exuma and MP Ragged Island would once again allow himself to be led by those on his side who have been rejected by the people and who obviously scripted a narrative intended to tie him to their failed administration rather than to offer constructive criticisms of which we believe he is capable." When I spoke in the Honourable House of Assembly on the 5th of October, speaking in relation to the previous administration's failure to extend the CCRIF insurance coverage, I stated the following regarding money borrowed for Hurricane Matthew relief. What we do know, however, is that we can only trace approximately $108 million of the $150 million supposedly spent on Hurricane Matthew relief, and while I am not saying the balance is unaccounted for, what I am saying is we are still trying to trace that balance. It is a simple fact that the Ministry of Finance was able to tie approximately $108 million directly to hurricane expenses, but we were unable to say at that date how the balance of $42 million was spent, or if those funds were simply absorbed into the Consolidated Fund and spent to cover usual bills as suggested by the opposition, which was not the stated purpose of the borrowing. To suggest that I stated the money was stolen or otherwise misappropriated is deceitful and entirely misleading. With respect to the fiscal deficit, I have explained the difference between actual cash basis reporting and projection, which is inherently based upon judgment considering known facts. If this concept is unclear to the opposition, then they will have bigger problems going forward. Now, as to where the money came from to pay those bills, the opposition should recall the borrowing resolution they held passed just a few short months ago to cover these expenses. Like the Shadow Minister of Finance, I too have no interest in playing political football, and he would do well to acquaint himself with the Financial Administration and Audit Act and the rules governing the Public Accounts Committee, which should inform his commentary. For my part, I intend to be as transparent as possible with internal and external stakeholders and not be distracted by rejected politicians with selfish motives. Newbold in today's weekly press briefing also spoke to a public financial management and performance reform project initiative that will soon be unveiled to the public. The project started under the previous administration, which will be facilitated through a $33 million loan from the Inter-American Development Bank. A public forum is set for this coming Thursday at the University of the Bahamas. Newbold says the consultancy group Delivery Associates recently briefed Cabinet on Component 1 of that proposal.
It's supposed to assist the government in the decision, in the design, implementation, the monitoring, review, and revision of a country-specific strategic framework to ensure the successful implementation of priority programs and strategic policy initiatives over the government's term in office. The group noted the need for a specific roadmap for determining how identified priority projects are to be achieved, and this includes establishing a realistic roadmap with targets and a results-driven implementation unit within the organizational structure of government.